Title: Psychology of People Who Always Side with the Underdog. Everyone's talking about how great the popular movie is, and you find yourself defending the film nobody liked. Your friends are all supporting the winning team, and you're quietly rooting for the team that's losing badly. At work, when everyone gangs up on the quiet coworker's idea, you're the one speaking up to say maybe they have a point. While others naturally gravitate toward winners, success stories, and popular opinions, you consistently find yourself championing the losing side, the unpopular choice, the person everyone else has written off. You're not being contrarian just to be difficult. You're not trying to start arguments or be the devil's advocate for fun. Your brain genuinely feels drawn to defend people and ideas that seem to be getting unfair treatment. And there are completely normal psychological reasons why some of us automatically root for David instead of Goliath. Let's start with what's actually happening when you side with the underdog. Most people naturally align themselves with strength, success, and popular opinion because it feels safer and more socially acceptable. But your brain seems wired to notice when someone or something is being unfairly dismissed, overlooked, or attacked, and that triggers a protective response rather than a joining the crowd response. It's like you have internal radar for power imbalances and injustice. When you see a situation where one side has all the advantages and the other side is struggling, your instinct isn't to join the winning team. It's to even the odds by supporting the side that needs support. You're drawn to fairness more than you're drawn to winning. And here's something that happens to people who always side with the underdog. You probably have high empathy and can easily imagine what it feels like to be in the losing position. When you see someone being criticized, excluded, or dismissed, you don't just observe it happening, you feel what they might be feeling. And that emotional connection makes you want to help. Think about how this shows up in different areas of your life. You might prefer indie movies over blockbusters, small businesses over big corporations, unknown artists over mainstream celebrities. You're not just being alternative, you're consistently drawn to the side that has to work harder to get attention and recognition. The tendency to support underdogs often comes from personal experience with being underestimated, overlooked, or treated unfairly yourself. Maybe you remember what it felt like to be the new kid, the quiet one, or the person whose ideas weren't taken seriously. That experience creates lasting sensitivity to situations where others are in similar positions. You probably get frustrated when you see group dynamics where everyone piles onto one opinion or one person. When a room full of people starts agreeing about why someone's idea won't work or why a particular choice is obviously wrong, you feel compelled to point out what everyone might be missing or to consider the other perspective. Research from Dr. Melvin Lerner on belief in a just world shows that people vary in how much they need the world to feel fair and balanced. Some people can tolerate or ignore unfairness relatively easily. Others, like underdog supporters, have a strong psychological need to restore balance when they perceive injustice. But here's what's really happening. When you consistently support the losing side, you're not just being sympathetic. You're operating from a different value system that prioritizes fairness and justice over popularity and success. You care more about leveling the playing field than about being on the winning team. And there's this thing about authenticity that drives underdog preference. Popular opinions and mainstream successes often feel calculated or manufactured to you. The struggling artist, the unpopular idea, the failing small business, these feel more genuine because they haven't been polished by market forces and mass appeal. You know that feeling when everyone's criticizing someone or something, and you find yourself thinking, but wait, maybe there's more to this story. You're not being naive, you're resisting the human tendency to pile onto easy targets, and instead considering whether the criticism is fair or just convenient. Here's something interesting about people who support underdogs. You often see potential that others miss. When everyone else is focused on current failure or unpopularity, you're noticing the qualities that might lead to future success. You see the underdog's strengths rather than just their disadvantages. Studies show that underdog supporters often have what psychologists call system justification resistance. You naturally question whether current power structures and popular opinions are actually fair or just temporarily dominant. You don't assume that whoever's winning deserves to win. Think about how this affects your relationships and social dynamics. You're probably the person who includes the quiet one in group conversations, who gives credit to ideas that get overlooked, who defends people when they're not there to defend themselves. You naturally notice who's being left out or dismissed. The attraction to underdogs often reflects a deeper understanding that circumstances, timing, and luck play huge roles in success. You recognize that the person or idea currently losing might just need better circumstances, more time, or different conditions to succeed. And here's something that might surprise people about underdog supporters. You're not pessimistic or negative, you're actually quite optimistic. You believe in the possibility of comebacks, second chances, and hidden potential. You see losing as temporary rather than permanent. You probably have complicated relationships with obvious success stories. When everyone's celebrating a big winner, part of you is thinking about all the people who didn't make it, or wondering whether the success was earned or just lucky. You're not jealous, you're just aware of the full picture. Most people who side with underdogs have strong moral reasoning and care deeply about fairness. You can't just ignore situations that seem unjust, even when it would be easier or more socially acceptable to go along with the crowd. Your conscience won't let you join pile-ons or ignore imbalances. But there's also this pattern recognition aspect to underdog support. You've probably noticed that popular opinion isn't always right, that today's winner might be tomorrow's loser, and that underdogs sometimes have the most interesting stories and the strongest motivation to prove themselves. The need to defend underdogs can sometimes put you in uncomfortable social positions. You end up being the person who questions group consensus, who brings up inconvenient points, or who makes conversations more complex by introducing perspectives that others want to ignore. Research reveals that people who consistently support underdogs often become leaders and innovators themselves, precisely because they're comfortable challenging popular opinion and supporting ideas that others dismiss. Your willingness to go against the crowd can lead to recognizing opportunities and solutions that others miss. And honestly, there's something beautiful about people who can't ignore unfairness or let imbalances go unchallenged. You make the world more just by consistently standing up for the side that needs support, even when it's not the popular or easy choice. You don't need to stop supporting underdogs or start following popular opinion to fit in better. Your instinct to defend the losing side often leads to supporting people and ideas that actually deserve support but haven't gotten it yet. Some of today's biggest success stories were yesterday's underdogs. The goal isn't to automatically oppose everything popular or successful, but to trust your instinct for fairness and justice, even when it puts you on the less popular side. Your willingness to support underdogs makes you the kind of person others can count on when they need someone in their corner. So next time you find yourself defending the unpopular choice or rooting for the losing team, remember that your brain is wired for justice and fairness rather than just social acceptance. That's not a character flaw. It's exactly the kind of thinking the world needs more of. Are you someone who naturally roots for the underdog, or do you prefer backing obvious winners? What do you think creates these different responses to success and failure? Let me know, because I suspect there are more secret underdog supporters out there than our winner-obsessed culture might suggest. To get more psychology content like this in your feed, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share your experiences with us. You'll be supporting our efforts too. Thanks for watching.